One chapter ends and an awesome new one begins. Written January 25th, 2021 by Pam Buholtz. As some of you know, I have called Restless Village Farm in Hillsborough, North Carolina my home for the past 7 years. I had found the little horse farm at exactly the right time on my journey. A serene escape, my sanctuary. A special place that provided me with the peace and tranquility to escape my often hectic and stressful days working at Duke Clinical Research Institute. After living there for a while, the farm became the place that I healed my somewhat damaged spirit and learned to dream again, and a place that I truly find difficult to leave. Here I had spent time discovering more about myself. My personality traits, my passions, what drives and motivates me, why I constantly seek adventure. And I finally found a creative outlet I craved, as I'm absolutely crap at drawing and painting. I began writing again. On struggling with the decision to sell my beloved horse farm, a very wise lady that was close to me at the time reminded me that I was the restless filly, not the farm. It was just a place, albeit an exceptionally beautiful place, but that it was me that made it special, and I would remain the same restless filly no matter where I moved to or what I chose to do next. Now, the name Restless Filly was given to me many years ago for a very good reason. I do get restless, and I always need adventure in my life. For those who know me, you will be aware of my affinity with water. Being Piscean and having been born in a small coastal town in Scotland where I spent much of the first 30 years of my life on or near the beach, I always gravitate towards water. Many years ago, I found a little card that had a picture of a mermaid and the words, "She knew someday the sea would call her home." I often looked at that pretty little card and knew in my heart that this was so true. And although I did have our lake at the farm, there was still a missing element for me. And now I think I've just found it. Several years ago, GB and I spent an incredible few days on the Outer Banks, and I fell head over heels in love with this beautiful and wild place. In the summer of 2019, I returned to the island several times, finding I was drawn to this unique strip of sand in the Atlantic just off the coast of North Carolina. The sea was calling me home. Although thousands of miles from my beach hometown in Scotland, I'd found a place that made me feel like I totally belonged, next to the ocean. Through the rest of the year, JB and I often spoke about how we could possibly move to the Outer Banks. And then, one cold, dark January evening, out of the blue, I came across a property for sale, an 11-bedroomed inn built in 1928 on Hatteras Island, on the Outer Banks. And so, the adventure began. Now, for all those who know anything about hurricanes and storms, or have just googled Hatteras to see exactly where our new adventures are taking us, yes, it is a thin strip of sandbar islands that jut out into the Atlantic Ocean, and yes, they are located right in Hurricane Central. In fact, sometimes the locator on my phone weather app simply lists my location city as the North Atlantic. We're fully aware of the inherent risks of living in this area, the price you pay for living on this island oasis, and after much careful thought, decided that we would go to where our hearts were pulling us, our little sliver of sandy paradise. Renovating and restoring the inn is a labour of love for us, but we've made great progress. With much cleaning and clearing out done, a new roof now completed, the old one leaked so much when it rained that there were not enough buckets and pots in the entire village to catch the water. Painting crew finished both inside and outside of the Porch and deck furniture arrived, and new lounge furniture, beds, mattresses, linens had all been delivered. Bathroom renovations were next on the list. Hatteras Island is often used to describe the towns on the southernmost tip of the Outer Banks that are accessible by car without taking a ferry. Rodanthe, Salvo and Waves. Then even further south, Avon, Buxton, Frisco and Hatteras Village. Our new home is in Hatteras Village. Hatteras Island is a haven for kiteboarding. Rated number 1 by many, beating Maui, Oahu, Long Beach, California and the Florida Keys. Surfing and fishing. Hatteras also has the closest marina to the Gulf Stream. And then there are the beaches. Oh, what more can I say? There's so much to tell you about our new adventures in Hatteras, it would be a pretty lengthy blog entry, so I will post much more detail in future blogs as I find the time. Here are a few key updates and points for those who like things short and sweet. GB and I will be living permanently all year round in Hatteras Village. The inn has an apartment and this will be our home. It was our original plan to have events and retreats at Restless Valley Farm, but we struggled a little with how to manage overnight stays for guests without having to build a new structure, as the lodge just wasn't big enough. Here at the inn, we have the perfect retreat, over 7,500 square feet. 5 guest suites, 4 guest bedrooms, 2 guest lounges, dining area, a huge front porch, multiple decks overlooking the ground, and only 5 minutes walk from the beach. The inn was originally built in 1928, the first hotel to be built on Hatteras Island, and it was originally called the Atlantic View Hotel. In the early 2000s, the island sustained significant hurricane damage, and after this the entire structure of the inn was raised by 9 feet and renamed the Seaside Inn. The Seaside Inn closed down in November 2019. We will be reopening spring 2021. Our renovations and restorations began in May 2020, when we also decided to change the name to the Atlantic Inn, paying homage to this beautiful and unique historical inn's beginnings back in 1928. The inn website is live at www.theatlanticinn.com. The Atlantic Inn also has a Facebook page. Bodie and Bailey the pups, not quite pups anymore, at £100+ each, already love it here, especially the long sunrise walks we take on the beach. Bodie, named after Patrick Swayze's character in Point Break, and coincidentally also the name of one of the local lighthouses here on the Outer Banks, in particular can't get enough of swimming in the wild surf, diving in without hesitation, whilst Mr. Bailey, generally the adult in the room of our little family, prefers the calmness of swimming in the Pamlico Sound. Funny how our pups appear to reflect our personalities. Bailey likes to hang out with JB, whilst Bodie, the crazier of the two, hangs out with me. Yes, I'm still coaching and loving it. One of the best decisions I ever made was to become a coach. I hope to continue to grow this area of my life and be able to hold regular retreats at the inn. I intend to spend more time writing, which has become a particular passion of mine over the past couple of years. Whereas the Atlantic Inn blog is where we share our stories from the inn, renovations, updates, news and photos, I've decided to launch a separate blog for my personal journey through my crazy little life. You can find me here at www.myatlanticlife.com. So there you have it. Plenty to keep us busy, plenty to dream about, and plenty of new adventures to be had here on the Outer Banks. So until next time, stay safe and well. Much love and hugs, Pam.